we both agree that being a point guard in this league, or generally being a point guard, is not someone that you can win. Having your best player as a point guard is not a way that you can win in this league. That goes for all point guards.
Who agrees to that? Hold on. Who agrees to that?
Well, we'll get into that later.
The point is, he is as good as you can, or close to as good as you can get at that point guard position. So we're looking at his stats. Chris Paul is an outstanding point guard. On the 4 games that he played without James Harden, he averaged over 20 points and over 11 assists. He's still very good.
Win those games?
He went into a bad situation. You can't win every game. I don't know, honestly.
An elite player will win a regular season game.
Anyway, the point is, we all agreed when he went down there with Harden that it wasn't a perfect fit because they're both ball-dominant players. So I think that the value of Chris Paul has gone down significantly because he was in a situation where he was not.
May I quick, Ryan, before you jump in?
Please.
Look. He was in Houston 2 years. He was playing with James Harden 2 years. So we have a basis of comparison, right? I just pulled it up in front of me to get you the numbers from 2 years ago. 46% from the field to under 42% from the field. 3-point percentage, 38% to under 36%.
Oh.
Like he declined as a player. We're not giving him a lifetime achievement award.
No one's saying he's giving a lifetime achievement award. And I agree with you that adding Chris Paul to a team doesn't instantly make them a championship contender. But we're talking about Chris Paul as if he's bad. Chris Paul is a very, very good player, and he is still good enough to be a lead player, a top 2 or top 3 player on a championship caliber team. Just because he was with Harden in a situation that was not ideal for him, we're looking at him like he is awful. He can still play defense at a pretty high level. I just heard Jalen Rose say it this morning, so don't blame me. The man said it this morning on Get Up. He said he can play
Who's he gonna guard?
defense of multiple positions at a high level. Jalen Rose said it. Don't get mad at me, get mad at him. So the guy is a very, very good player. Whether he's elite or not is semantics, what you consider elite. But you guys pretending as if Chris Paul is not good enough to be a leader on a championship team?
Yeah.
So Chris Paul, answer the question. Chris Paul can't be the point guard on a championship team.
You know I'm over here, right? You know it's not just the Kellerman. When's the last time he was an All-Star? 4 seasons. When's the last time he's been healthy? Hold on.
You're going to ask the question. Was there a question mark or not a question mark?
It's clearly obvious. It hasn't been 4 seasons. Here's the reality. When he was moved to the Thunder, the first thing they voice and say is, we are moving and trading Chris Paul. The first thing, hey, he will never wear an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. You would never have said something about this. I played with Chris. And the one thing I will say in response, Chris is going to go down as one of the greatest point guards we've ever seen play the game of basketball. He's going to be remembered for the pick and roll. But in all reality, Father Time is undefeated. He's not the same player.
This is why I was only arguing with Max, because those are 2 trash arguments. So that he hasn't made it to All-Star game.
Hold on, let me fix this. I
just let you talk.
Domonique, what is elite? I got to figure out
how many times you went to an All-Star game. Like, we all know that an All-Star game is not the end-all, be-all. It's about fan vote and about other stuff. So that's not even a good argument.
How do you define elite?
That's not even a good argument.
How do you define elite?
I'm defining elite as the type of guy that I can put on a team. He can be a top 2 or 3 player on a team that can win a championship.
He can't, because
I believe he can.
Okay, Domonique,
I believe he can.
A guy on the team?
Guys, we just saw him in the most efficient system in the NBA. It's ugly to watch. It's not very exciting. It's been criticized for its effectiveness in the playoffs. It's a very efficient system. He was the 2nd best player on that team. They had other very good players, and they were well coached. They didn't win a championship.
So come on, Max. Just because they didn't,
last year they went backwards.
Just because they didn't win a championship does not mean that they were not a championship caliber team. We all agree that in the entire league, there were only a few teams that had realistic championship aspiration. And with Chris Paul as their 2nd best player, they had real championship aspiration. They took the eventual champs to Game 7.
That was 2 years ago. Yes,
that's fine.
Wait, if you asked me me 2 years ago, is Chris Paul elite? I would agree with you. Then last year happened. You pretend it didn't happen.
Right. I believe that Chris Paul has not declined to the point that his stats suggest. It's 1 season. I think that he is good. There was a lot of other turmoil in there that impacted the way that he performed. My argument is that, so if you'll give me that Chris Paul was elite 2 years ago. Okay, my argument is that Chris Paul can return that. NBA players have had great seasons at 34. You can go through history. Stockton and Jordan and lots of players have had great seasons at 34.
So you're saying he can rebound. You're guessing he can rebound.
I believe that last year was more of an aberration than the trend going forward.
Here's the reality. As far as Chris Paul's injuries are concerned, we have to acknowledge injuries. The one thing he did, he tore up that knee for the Hornets, and then after that, he hurt his hamstring. And you know it's more of a football injury. When you hurt that hamstring, you go and play on it, it doesn't heal the right way, it's literally never the same. Chris Paul is to a point in his career where he'll never play 82 games. He'll never be able to get you through a season. And if we're going to talk about elite, one elite player on a squad gets you to the playoffs. Chris Paul alone does not get you to the playoffs. I'll bring up a name. Is Kemba Walker elite?
I think so.
And he got you to.
How many can you have elite though?
And he literally got you, like, everybody cannot be elite. Now, can he have moments? Can Chris hit a game winner? I'll give you that. He possibly has that.
Who's better, Chris Paul
player?
right now? Who's better, Chris Paul or Mike Conley Jr. right now?
Mike Conley.
Mike Conley Jr. or Chris Paul?
Chris Paul.
Is better than Mike Conley Jr., yes or no?
Not even close, bro. Not even close,
Mike
bro. Not even close, bro.
Right now,
I mean, if you're talking,
Mike Conley, the eighth best point guard in the league.
The point that I'm making, and thank you so much, Max, for helping me with that, is that Chris Paul can return to the Chris Paul of 2 years ago, which we both agree was elite. You're arguing that he can't do that. I think that's absurd. He can. It's not like I'm asking him to go back to Chris Paul of 10 years ago. If you believe that he
elite players can miss the entire. Can he play 82 games? That's simple.
Here's what it
can
comes
he
down
play
to.
82 games?
Being elite and saying that
Kawhi didn't play 82 games either. But look, here's what it comes down to. You're guessing that he can return to that being that player.
You're guessing that he's going to continue to be.
What I'm saying is, at the age of 34, coming off the worst season of his career,
hold on, stop,
it is
stop right
more
there,
likely than not.
Stop right there. Why was last year the worst season of his career?
Because he was hurt.
And because it was part because he was injured, and it's part because of the fit and the chemistry with Harden.
What about the year before that? That seemed to be fine.
I know, but you just said that he was elite that season.
We got to wrap
so
up
the point is, you're making my point.
Max,
you're making my point
you guys say
that part of
he
the
is
issue
not
was
elite.
injury and
Domonique,
chemistry.
you still
It's
contend
physical.
he is elite. He was one of 5 players last season to average 15 points per game, 8 assists per game. Others being LeBron, Westbrook, John Wall, and Trae Young. However, to your point, Ryan, you said he will never get you through an entire season. He has only played more than 70 games once in the last 8 seasons.
What?
All right,
More than 70 games once in the last 8 seasons?
That's it.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.